Hello, everyone. We continually, in these weeks now and more into a month, are thinking of putting as much shalom as we can into our Shabbat. And so I hope that as we transition out of another rough week, we move into a time when we can really be with family and appreciate our love of family and community and friends. Um, as we enter this week's Torah portion of Chayei Sarah, which means the life of Sarah. The irony is that as the Torah portion begins of Chayei Sarah, she actually dies, but in her death, the Torah portion speaks of her legacy, and her legacy continues with Abraham tasking Eliezer, his most closest. The text is complicated and says servant, but some say it's a deeper relationship. His name is Eliezer. So Abraham tasks him with going to look for a wife for his son Isaac. And Eliezer is not sure what to do. And so in his travels, he ends up by a well. And he sits down by that well and he says to himself, boy, I wish that after my long journey, someone would appear pretty much out of nowhere, offer me water and to the whole entourage, and also give water to all the camels. And as essentially he stops saying that, a woman walks over to him and says, "Hello, it looks like you are on a long journey. May I offer you some water?" And then gives water to him, to the entourage, and then also to the camels. And that woman is Rebecca. And it is as if Eliezer shows up at this well at the exact moment that he's supposed to, thinks and wishes for the right person to walk by, and then she appears, and it is Rebecca. And of course, we know and love Rebecca as one of the strongest and most wonderful women in all of our Jewish text. And we meet her this week in Chayei Sarah, in this Torah portion. And there's all kinds of midrashim. There are versions of this on how she gives water to the camels, because it's a lot of camels. It was a long ride. It was a big entourage, and so it could be really hundreds of gallons of water, hypothetically. Various equations on how much she gave to each camel and how much each camel can consume. And so let's just say a lot of water, and she does that all on her own. And then she also, because they speak and find a connection between one another, she invites Eliezer and the entourage to come to her father's home, and that's the development of the connection through Rebecca, and then to Isaac, and then in perpetuity of the Jewish story. And so there's this beautiful idea about this bucket and the water and this moment. And I'll tell you that this morning we were sitting with a couple of students from our early childhood, and we were talking about moments of kindness. And one of the kids actually said, you know, I fill my bucket. And when I fill my bucket, I feel really good. So this adorable child in our school said that, and I thought how perfect, because we're talking about this Torah portion anyway, and she used the word bucket. And the irony is that not only was the bucket used physically to fill the water, but we use that idea and that concept of what do we do to fill other people's buckets? What do we do that we can be helpful without really being asked? What can we do with a sincere feeling to do in our hearts with other people? How do we show respect to others? All these things are ways that we fill buckets for people. We can fill our own bucket by doing these things because it feels good. And we can also help to fill other people's buckets because we are doing this goodness for them. This kindness, this thoughtfulness comes from not just giving water as Rebecca does, but she does so much from her heart that she goes beyond giving the water to Eliezer. And so my question for us on the Shabbat is, how are we filling our buckets? It's clear that our local community needs our buckets filled and needs us to continually fill buckets. And it's clear that as these very difficult days continue, we hear about our brothers and sisters in our homeland in Israel that are of filling their buckets are hopefully in our minds and in our hearts, to continually find ways to fill their buckets, continually find ways for us to help our homeland in any possible way. As we keep mentioning, there are a few ways to do that. Many are actually on our website, cbfboca.org. Go to the website, wait a second, wait for the banner to drop down. It'll drop down automatically. Learn more about Israel. There are a lot of things that we can do, including buy some much needed supplies directly from our Amazon wish list, and other ways to support financially the Emergency Relief Fund through JNF USA, and also donations that can be made towards the building of our third bomb shelter in the south. We have already built 2, Congregation B'nai Israel. So this is already, our monies are going to building the third. All those are on our website. So may we have a Shabbat that works on finding that peace within us and in our Jewish community, of course, and in our world. And may it be a Shabbat where we continually fill buckets for our community and for those who need it, particularly in our homeland. Services are not too far away. They are at 6:30. It is Veterans Shabbat. It is Veterans Day today. So we're going to be honoring our veterans who will be showing up here at our congregation. We'll also be remembering our veterans. So 6:30 tonight for services, and then tomorrow morning our service at usual service and Torah study at 8:30. Look forward to seeing you soon, and we all look forward to putting more and more shalom in to our Shabbat.